having an affair doesn't inoculate you against the pain of finding out about one. I never felt that it was, any kind of a SARS vaccine. It was protecting me from my own behavior. But in thinking about it, I think that having had affairs as I did actually made it worse when I found out about my husband's, because I know what you say to your lover. I know how much you just sometimes don't want to go home and be with your husband. I know that you want to be elsewhere, the things you say, the things you feel, the almost, a kind of a despair when you go home and you pull up your car outside of your house and you think, I've just been with my lover all afternoon, I have to go inside. I don't want to. Knowing all that as I do, and then finding out that my husband did all of those things, had sex, felt love, was attracted to, didn't want to be with me, knowing that he felt all of that made it worse. I mean, I can't say for sure because, I don't know, I guess how can you really decide between one kind of agony and another? They're all lousy, but I think that's what maybe made it worse for me. There is one fallacy, I think, that exists about men and women who cheat, and this always makes me a little nuts, and it's the notion that men have affairs and women forbear them and sort of stay at home and raise the children. Obviously, infidelity is not something that most people want to claim, but I do find it a little, I don't like it when men say, well, boys will be boys and men cheat and women really don't, because I feel like men use that as part of not a justification but a comfort to themselves, that I can go off and do this and I can have affairs and I can cheat or I can skirt around or chase other women, but my wife wouldn't because women don't do that. Well, you know what? We do actually do that, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's really not good for anyone, but if we're all human, if you are tempted as a male, why in God's name wouldn't the female in your life be tempted as well? Of course she is. I mean, I've been sitting with friends of mine, in a group, and David Beckham will flash across the TV screen, and you would be surprised at the things that women say when David Beckham flashes across the television screen. It's no different. To me, it's not that men cheat and women don't. There are people who cheat and there are people who don't cheat, and I don't really think there's a gender line as to who does it. I would imagine that it would be very difficult to be the only one, apart from your lover, who knows about it. You do need to lean on people. You need to lean on your friends sometimes. You use them as alibis. They generally know, at least my closest friends did. And I'm sure that I put a great burden on them when I was having my affairs, because they not so much had to cover for me, but they had to be with me, they had to hear about my affairs, and then they had to perhaps be with my husband and I, and when we went out or when we were all together, and I think that was probably something I didn't realize at the time. That's one of the things I regret most, in not realizing how much I was asking of them to help me shoulder, my affairs.